Hi, welcome. This is Patty Ann, and today I'm going to be going over one of the tutorials in the My Floriani Club. The one that I'm going to be going over is in the weekly educational video archive. It's one that I've really been enjoying doing, and I've been doing it over and over, trying to make sure that I learn the concept. It's this one right here, playing with Floriani Total Control U tools. It's a great tutorial, and I'm going to show you my version of it now. So I'm going to open Floriani Total Control U with a new page right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a piece of artwork. Now if I click on this, it says rectangle because that's the last tool I used in here. But if I actually do click on it, it'll show you there's these kind of regular shapes, and then there's a place underneath that says custom shape. I've clicked on custom shape. Now, in the custom shape folder, you can have a drop down and there's something called easy art. We'll explore that another time. Right now, we're just going to look at custom shapes. And today I'm going to pick the one that is the little cat. Now, the first thing you need to know when I've picked on the little cat or chose the little cat, if I come over here to the sequence view and click on the plus sign, which opens up everything inside of that area, it shows that the cat is artwork. Artwork is not something that you can save to stitch out as it is. Simply like a drawing or a photograph, you need to change it into some kind of stitches before it can be stitched out. So what I'm going to do first with this one is I'm going to change the artwork to click on it to highlight it because that highlights the cat. Okay, or I could click on the line and that gets him. I'm going to come down here to where it says Wave Color Blend. When I do Wave Color Blend, you'll notice the Properties dialog box opened, and it has two different colors showing. This is color 1, gradient type 1, color 1, and this is color 2. And so if I come over here and click on the 3D view, you can get an idea of what that kind of looks like. Click the 3D view back off. There's also these other little buttons over here that you can play with. Notice this says line increasing, the blue. If I change it to linear decreasing, and you always have to hit apply after you change something, notice how it changed. I can do the same thing with color number 2. But those are just some things that you can play around with. You can also change the colors that you have. So if you're using a Windows software that's any version other than Windows 10, you'll be able to just click in here to change your color 1, choose one that you like, and see the number comes up. And then when you hit apply, it will change it so that you'll now have the yellow and the red combination. As I said, that happens in any version other than Windows 10. In my version of Windows 10, when I do this and click apply, this is going to go back to the blue color that it was originally. Watch. See that? It just went back to blue. The dark fuchsia, the color number 2, I can change up here in that fashion. If I want to change this to yellow, I click on the yellow and I click apply and it changes to the yellow. I'm not sure what the glitch is here, but in Windows 10 there is one, but there's a workaround. And so what you do is if you want to change, if I want to change this, say, to red, I can come down here to where all the colors are, and you can change which kind of thread you're using. I'm just using the one called embroidery right now. And say I want to make this first color red. I can come down here and choose red, click on it, and when I do, an option comes up. Do I want this to be color 1 or color 2, or do I want to add it to the design palette? I want it to be color 1. And I don't even have to click apply. It has been already applied here. And I can come over to the 3D and you can see that it has been applied. Now it's the red and the yellow together. If I want to change it to another color, I can come down here again. Let's say I want to change color number 2 to this color. whoops, I've got to click on him to have him highlighted. Come down here and make that color number 2, and it automatically changes it. Now, if I'd like to change some of the shaping of this, I can go back into gradient, and remember this linear decreasing and linear increasing? I can change those and apply it, and it'll change how the cat stitches out. Well, that's the first part of the lesson. And my main thing I wanted to show you was if you're using Windows 10, there is a workaround. Don't get very frustrated if you can't change color number 1. It's a glitch in the system, which they're working on, but you can work around it down here. Now the next thing I want to show you is how you can actually make like a little bit of a poofy outline around him and then have some stippling to go from the poofy outline out to the edge of the embroidery block if you're making perhaps a quilt block. So in order to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to come over here into the sequence view. You're going to right click, copy, right click, paste. So now what we have is we have 2 of these fellows, these little kitties that look just the same. If I come over here and close one of these eyes or make that one invisible, it still shows up here. If I close the second one, all of them are gone. So there's just 2 of them. There's one and there's the second one. But I don't need 2 with a fill. I'm going to change this one that's a fill. I'm going to change it to having a run stitch around the cat. So I come over, after I've highlighted it, I come over here to the run stitch, click on it, and it's a run stitch now, and it's red. Now if you look up here, I can change the way the run stitch is. It's a single run, I can make it a double run, a bean stitch, and you can learn more about those in another lesson as well. I'm going to leave it as a bean stitch with 3 bean repeats, remembering to click apply anytime I change anything over here. So there's the apply. So now I have a kitty, and let's look at him in 3D. He's going to be 2 different colors. He has a nice bean stitch outline around him. But as I said, I want to make a puffy little outline around him and then have a quilt square that goes out here and have stippling between the puffy outline and the square border. So the next thing I'm going to do then to make the puffy outline of him is I'm going to copy and paste another one. And this time when I click on this fellow right here, the last one that came up, I'm going to come up here to where it says, here it is, create outlines. That means I'm going to create an outline of the thing that I already have there. I can make as many outlines as I want to. I can make 2 outlines or 3 outlines. Let me just see what happens when I do that. Okay, you see, that just makes outlines like that. But I don't want that many outlines right now, so I'm going to use my undo button. And you can click that as often as you want to or need to. I'm going to come back down here to this last one I made. Back up here to the Create Outlines button, and I really just want 1. And if you'll notice the spacing, it says it's 0.25. I can change that too, but I'm going to leave it like this because I want my outline to be about 1/4 of an inch away from my actual kitty. I'm going to leave it at Cascade and just say OK. There it is. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a square around him because, as I said, this is going to be a quilt block. I'm going to come back up here to the shape tool, or not the shape tool, I'm sorry, to this one, the custom shape tool. Click on the rectangle, and I'm going to make a rectangle around the cat. Now, doesn't matter if it's perfect because I'm going to use this transform button, and I'm going to make my quilt square 6 inches by 6 inches, and I'm going to hit apply. So now this square around this cat is 6 inches, but I want to make it so I can see it all. So I'm going to take the zoom to fit, and that allows me to see everything. Now, these last 2 things that I did, this one and this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both of those together. So I click on the first one, hold down my Shift key and click on the second one. And that makes it so both are selected. Then I'm going to come up here to the paper clip and combine them. Now those two things are combined. And in those things, between here and here, I want stippling. So I'm going to come down here to the one-click wonder and click on Auto Stipple. And it's going to put the stippling in for me automatically. I think the stippling is a little too close together, the density. So I'm going to make it maybe a 3. Let's see what happens. Apply. Remember, every time you change something, you have to apply it. That's pretty good. Okay, I really like how this has turned out. I'm going to make my stippling, however, instead of that color, I want to make it a gray color. So I'm going to go this way and find a gray. There's my stippling in the gray. One other thing I think that will make this look better, though, is if I have an outline of him. Okay, so if I go back to this and I copy and I paste, I can take this guy right here, which is an exact copy and paste of this one, and come up here to my Create Outline. My settings remain the same and say OK. But this time, instead of just having that outline as artwork, see, it's artwork, it's not going to stitch out. I do want it to stitch out. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make it a run stitch. And I don't want it to be red. I want it to be, how about a dark gray, perhaps? Yeah, a dark gray. Okay, so there we have it. We have a block that has been, could be stitched out just like this.